Hello and good day to you. My name is Adam Gamache and I want to share a story of a man named Simon. I want to tell you this story using a meta-narrative. This is a reoccurring storyline throughout the Bible. It starts with creation, then it goes to the fall, redemption, and then lastly, restoration. So let's start with creation. The story of Simon the fisherman begins on the Sea of Galilee, where him and his brother Andrew were casting nets. Jesus had just completed 40 days in the wilderness and was walking by and said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." In the second half of John chapter 1, we see the introduction of Jesus and Simon. Andrew, Simon's brother, was a follower of John the Baptist, and after hearing his testimony and seeing Jesus, he ran to his brother to tell Simon, "We have found the Messiah." So Andrew brings Simon to meet Jesus. Jesus looks at him, and the first thing he says is, "You are Simon, son of John. You will be called Cephas." Cephas means rock, and that's in Aramaic. And also in the Greek, it means Peter. So that's where we get Peter from. So why would Jesus call Simon by the name of Peter or rock? Stay tuned. In Matthew 14, after Jesus had fed 5,000 people, he goes off alone to pray. The disciples were on their boat on a way across the Sea of Galilee. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already considerable distance from the land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. Matthew, Mark, and Luke tell this story that in fear and darkness, they thought Jesus was a ghost. However, it was the Son of God who made the world, that suspended the laws of gravity, and it was a demonstration of Jesus' true identity as the sovereign Lord of all creation. John 1 verse 3 says, "God created everything through him, and nothing except through him was made." Verse 27 says, "But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, 'Take heart, it is I, do not be afraid.'" Isn't that amazing comfort? When you're scared of the unknown, the next minute, the next hour, day, it is I, do not be afraid. Peter says, "Lord, if it's you, tell me to come out on the water with you." Jesus says, "Come." He says, "Come and trust me." Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, beginning to sink, and cried out, "Lord, save me." This is a textbook illustration of what happens when we take our eyes off Jesus. I think it serves as a warning. It's easy in this life to get distracted by the things in this world. We take our eyes off Jesus and end up in trouble. Immediately, Jesus reaches out his hand and catches him. He says, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" And think back to verse 27 again as a declaration and not a statement. It is I, do not be afraid. I think Jesus could have planned this to teach Peter and the disciples a valuable lesson: to believe, to trust, to keep Christ at the center of your life. And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshiped him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." Jump forward to Matthew chapter 16, start in verse 13. Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi. He asks his disciples, who do people say the Son of Man is?" They replied, saying, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. But what about you? Who do you say I am?" Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Jesus replies, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of John, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven." So up until now, Christ's claims of being the Messiah had been tied to Old Testament prophecy. Mix that with miracles he performed, and he authenticated those claims. This is the first time Jesus taught Peter and the disciples his true identity. God the Father had opened Peter's eyes to know who Jesus truly was. Peter wasn't giving a scholarly answer or opinion. Here, Peter's heart had been opened by God to the hidden knowledge of Christ by faith. You see Peter's personal faith from a divinely regenerated heart. Verse 18, he says, I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it. This doesn't mean that Peter is the foundation of the church. In fact, the New Testament makes it clear that Jesus is both the foundation stone and the head of the church. In 1 Corinthians 3:11, for no one can lay any foundation other than the one already laid, which is in Jesus Christ. I'm quoting Peter in Acts 4:11 and 12, the stone you builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Salvation is found in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given to mankind by which you must be saved. Peter gives a good definition of Jesus' meaning in 1 Peter 2:5. You also, like living stones, are being built into spiritual houses to be a holy priesthood, offering spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. So what can we learn about Simon? God has a plan and a purpose for those he calls. Saving faith comes from a divinely regenerated heart. Do not doubt and keep your eyes fixed on Christ. And Jesus is the foundation and cornerstone of the church. So we briefly see the rise or creation of Peter, the disciple of Jesus, from the former fisherman named Simon. From his calling on the shores of the Sea of Galilee to the doubting disciple, then warm words spoken by Jesus as he declared his faith. Jesus has a mighty purpose for Peter's life. The next chapter of Peter's life looks quite a bit different. What happens next? Tune in next time to find out what happens to Peter. Thanks for watching.